Well, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing and whoever you're lucky enough to be doing it to, I'm Bushka on Blitz, back with another dose of love, affection, and the generic hot stuff. Today we're going to be looking at the Grille 15, the brand spanking new Tier X German TD, and isn't it a unique little numpty? It's 60 kilometers an hour of sudden death, 640 alpha, which is actually dropped from the 750 they had it at on the test server. Apparently that was the exact same stats as the PC version, and that was unintentional. They also upped the rate of fire, however. I want to talk about the tank, how you should be playing it if you want to be successful in it, the do's and don'ts, why you'd be doing particular things, the equipment loadout I used, and I did run 97 games in this tank with an average damage of 2,700 and something. So nearly 3,000 average damage. So I certainly feel like I've got a grasp on it and I know how to drive it. And I want to help you guys because it's a really difficult tank to just step into and run with. You need to actually be very aware of your surroundings. And if you want to play it in a particular manner, I'm here to help you. Now, I run it with a rammer, a camo net, and binoculars. You can't put vents on it because it is an open top tank, much like the 263. However, I do an awful lot of stealth fighting. And when I don't, I utilize the mobility. Now, we're going to have a look at a very interesting little graphic here. You can see me moving around like a madman there. When you get stuck, you can move an awful lot, and it's great, and it's very mobile. But look at this. This is a game on desert sands. Look at the amount of time I spend with me between the Reds and the rest of my team, as in none. I'm at all times behind them. I'm using them like a permanent shield. I'm moving around behind, resetting camo. Look at my little white triangle there. Constantly being behind, and as the Reds pop up now near the one spawn, the old railway, I am consistently behind, shouting targets, shooting targets, moving onward with life. That is the perfect route for a Grille 15. Always behind your heavies and your mediums, always shooting tanks without being seen. Now that is obviously not always going to be the case, but it is by far and away your safest bet. You can't always do that though. And when you're in a situation where you're faced with enemy tanks up close and personal, you're going to take damage. There's two things you need to look for in this tank. One is hard cover. If you're up close and personal, you need hard cover. And that means rocks, hills, even other tanks, the debris, the dead carcasses of your enemies. Whatever it takes, you've got to find hard cover. Because your armor is literally 30 millimeters at best. Anyone can fire a full HE round and penetrate you anywhere. Your entire turret top is actually just begging to be smashed. But your gun is an amazing .27 dispersion weapon. And you have a wonderful 279 millimeters on your AP of penetration and 334 millimeters on penetration on your heat. Now that isn't amazing pen numbers for a Tier X TD. Your E3 and your E4, for instance, have 375 millimeters of penetration on their APCR, and you can see how easily things go through there. I'm in a really tough spot here, but what I've got with the Grille is an amazing gun, a big dose of alpha, and a whole lot of mobility. 60 kilometers an hour is your top speed, but your takeoff is exceptionally quick, and you can see how good the gun is here. We take the shot and we get back into cover before something else comes our way. When you fire with this thing, you need to get in the habit of firing and pulling back into cover straight away because the tank is so weak and there are so many unseen tanks generally on a battlefield. It's very rare to see all the red tanks spotted at the same time for any length of time. So you can always be aware that if you're visible, you're very likely to get penned because you are, for all intents and purposes, a big paper mache thing running around at 60 kilometers an hour with the world's longest gun sticking off the end. So you can see here, I have utilized the mobility. I've been hiding behind that rock. I've now dropped the adrenaline, set that shot up on the i7, and we've nailed him. Now, there are no happy endings in this game. I'm just using it to illustrate how map aware you have to be. I'm now moving around here and using the mobility and the hard cover that I have on my left to get a shot in. Always behind hard cover. I can't stress this enough. I run rammer, vents, rammer, binoculars, and a camo net. Now, nearly always, I am looking for my first shots to be from stealth, from camouflage. You want to set this tank up from camouflage. You've got 250 view range. So you're basically looking at a tank that when you've got everything working has in excess of 310 meters of view range. So if you are completely stealthed up with a camo net running, all your perks, your rations, etc., you're going to be exceptionally hard to see. However, once you fire from soft camo, etc., you are more than likely going to be lit up if they're close enough. And that means you have to get very, very good at resetting. Now, it just so happens that camo takes 10 seconds to reset. Your camouflage takes 10 seconds to reset to a full number. What that means is that you need a timer. It just so happens that your gun, once you've got your rammer and everything installed, has a 10.5 second reload time. So from the time you fire and start pulling back to the time you reload is generally going to be the perfect amount of time to reset your camo. Now I'm going to give you a quick look on why I use binoculars and a camo net. You can see the icons will pop now directly below me as soon as they're in, and I'm going to spot 4 heavy tanks over there as they move forward because I have over 300 meters of view range on this tank. And in fact, I'm going to get a shot on the E75 who's a bit tardy on going across at the start of the game. Now that is the perfect way to get shots on this tank, but the mobility is what allows it to really shine. You're going to see a situation here where a T62A pops up behind me. I'm in severe camo, so I'm going to flex and get the hell out of there. I'm not running away though. I'm actually just getting out of his line of fire, and then I'm going to leverage this M103. Again, remember how I talked about keeping the greens between you and the reds. Now here's something I've not talked about before. Hard cover. Watch me. I'm going to hit this 62A. As I hit him, I'm driving forward. What's between me and him now? If it's not a green tank, it's a barn. And he's going to hit me once, but I am going to find hard cover as soon as I get the opportunity. Again, I'm willing to take one because I've got to get rid of him, and I'm behind the rock. And I don't give him that target. I just don't give it to him. Now your rate of fire is 4.72 rounds per minute. Let's run through the gun stats. 4.72 rounds per minute. 640 alpha. It was originally 750 on the test server, but as I said, that was the PC version. You don't lose out there though, because 640 is a huge healthy dose, and it was originally 3.5 rounds a minute. You're now 640 alpha at 4.72 rounds per minute, which is big style damage. That's over 3,000 damage per minute. With your rammer, with your rations, I'm running double rations on it, you can get it up to 5.7 rounds per minute, which is enormous on a 640 alpha tank. That's a really big dose of damage per minute. Now you'll see there, I'm spotted, I pull back. They were probably using binocs over there, that's fine and dandy. I'm now going to move up to another area that I can snipe from. Now, the dispersion is the best in the game. There is no doubt about that, and it's the best by a wide margin. 0.27 dispersion and a 1.5 second aim time, which is insane. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible on-the-move tank. If you are on the move, forget about it. But if you set the shots up, as you should be, because you should be attacking at all times from stealth, if at all possible, and you set your shots up, then you're going to be absolutely hitting targets at range, at wherever, because the gun is godlike. I adore the tank. I adore the gun. Without the gun, it would be a horror show. It's a 15 centimeter pack, as in a 150 millimeter gun, and the most 150 millimeter gun can be in Blitz is 640 alpha. Hence, the 183 is a 183 millimeter gun. That's why it's called the 183, and that is the good old 920 alpha that you get on the AP rounds of the 183. Your high explosive rounds on this are 960 alpha. You want to keep those in the can for the backs of tanks. I don't use them on either of these two, even though I am going to be hitting them from the back because they both have too much armor for me to really do much with the HE. You've seen the mobility in this game. We've moved to a sniper spot. We've nutted a flanker. We've moved back to a sniper spot. We've got off. We've gone back to a sniper spot, and now we're just going to roll down around them. And the next game, you're going to see the mobility used par excellence because I'm with Snake Eyes Warrior, and not Snake Eyes Warrior, hasn't been Snake Eyes Warrior for a long time. I'm with Snake Eyes, my good mate, in the T62A, and I want to show you this tank can get out and fly, okay? And that is the thing that absolutely makes it for me. If you just had a tank that could do this kind of damage with this kind of gun, that's great. But when you've got a tank like this that can follow a T62A, a Tier X fast mover, out to a flank with no worries whatsoever, you catch him up. It's something special. It really is. Find bushes. Bushes are fantastic because they cover you. Now, you'll see there, he is spotted. He is a silhouette. That means that he cannot see me when I fire if I'm far enough away. And then I move into hard cover. Oh my God, Bushka, you are so boring. Stop talking about hard cover. I'll stop talking about hard cover when people driving Leo PTAs and Grills and Leo 1s and RU251s and SP1Cs and VK2801s start using hard cover. When you fire the tank, you get into bloody hard cover, and then you don't have to worry about whether you're spotted or not because they can't hit you. All right, I'm done. That's my rant over. We fired up that 183. We put another shot into him, and now we are retreating behind the building again. You want to be using bushes all the time. Bushes are excellent because they allow you to set shots up really, really well, and they also allow you to spot. You can spot extremely well with this tank if you can get into an early position in a bush with a platoon mate where you've got some support and you're not just YOLOing out into the middle of the wilderness. Your on-the-move camo rating's not fantastic at all, but what you do have is binoculars, a camo net, and good view range. So you can sit in a bush in a forward position and basically survey the field for up to 310, 315 meters quite comfortably. Now, we've put big damage in here. We've all but wrecked a 183. We've nailed an IS-7, but the targets have dried up. Everyone's gone to ground. What can you do? Well, the 62A is going to take off on the left. The Snake Eyes is rolling, and we're going to roll with him. Have a look at this thing. We're spotted. That's okay. They're only going to get a little bit of a chance at getting a shot in. We're down into the dip, under the guns, and we're stopping up just about so we don't run Snake Eyes over because we do 60. Now, we're going to go extra long. There's a 54 that's missing. We haven't seen him yet. We're a bit worried about it, so we're staying down in the valleys before we get to this house where I can then get cover again if there's anyone pushing through. Now, I'm spotted again. Who did that? Must be a 54 around here or that E5. I think it was the 54. E5's not looking at me. Get the shot, pull back. You'll note there's a bush there. That's like one of my favourite things in the world. Finding a bush for Bushka. Kemp bush. More Kemp bush. We've been pounding. That's a whole lot of shots. We've had 5 shots now on target. That's 3,000 damage minimum. 3,200 damage minimum on average rolls. But we did set one on fire as well. The T54 is going to turn up. Again, watch this gun just perform. Set it up, give it time, smash it. Straight through the side of the turret. Always reverse away from incoming mediums. Doesn't matter so much when you've got a Snake Eyes Warrior on your side. A Snake Eyes Warrior, isn't it? Snake Eyes Warrior. Stop calling him that. And there you go. We smacked that T54. We're going to move forward. The E5 has thought better of him, of his position, and rolled out from there. And we are now going to absolutely stick it to him by rolling the flank. This is what they call rolling the flank, boys and girls. This is where we've destroyed their outward elements. They're all stuck in a corner. They have to face the guys in front of them. And we are simply going to power over here at 60 kilometers an hour, set up shots, and do the business. Now, that IS-7 is a long, long way away, but you don't have to worry about that with the Grille 15, because look at this little number go. What a shot. 336 meters right through the eye of a needle. 0.27 dispersion will do that for you. Your 960 Alpha on your HE is excellent too, by the way. All the American tanks need to be touched up with 960 Alpha from behind. Your 24 degrees is probably the biggest letdown on the tank, but I can see why they didn't put more traverse speed on it because, again, it'll be overpowered. Look at me fire and then find cover. I mean, it's just... You have to get that into your gameplay. You really do, in all your tanks, but particularly in tanks that are soft. The good players talk about playing like you have one single hit point. And if you do that, you will find that, man, you live a lot longer. If you play it like your next shot is going to kill you, you're going to live a lot longer. So that's the Grille 15, guys. I adore this tank. It is great fun. It's got a whole lot going for it. It's not for the faint of heart, and you have to be very map aware, very aware of the game mechanics and how they work. And there's plenty of videos on here if you don't know how that happens. Go to the game improvement section of www.bushkaonblitz.com, and there's an absolute oodle of them. This is a Patreon-sponsored post, by the way. Patreon is how... There's a whole bunch of guys out there. I think there's about 120 now who sponsor the channel. And if you could help, that would be wonderful, from as little as $1 a month. So go and knock yourselves out. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. There's always content dropping around here. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm sure you're going to enjoy the Grille 15 if you play it the right way. And hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight into how that is actually achieved. I'm Bushka on Blitz team. Stay safe on the battlefield.